Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that can completely change the game for your professional presence. We're talking about a few simple but really powerful language upgrades.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. Do you want to feel more confident at work? Sound more fluent in those important conversations? It's something pretty much everyone wants. And you know what? The solution is way simpler than you might think.
Because here's the secret. The biggest, most noticeable leaps in how you're perceived professionally, they don't come from learning a bunch of complicated new words. Nope. They come from making small, deliberate shifts in the everyday phrases you're already using.
So we're going to walk through what I like to call the simple to pro upgrade. We'll look at how to go from language that just gets the job done, functional, to language that sounds truly fluent and professional.
This chart really gives you a great picture of the impact we're talking about. Look, simple phrases work, sure, they get the job done, but these professional upgrades, whoa, it feels like they literally triple the positive effect, boosting your clarity, your politeness, and just your overall authority.
All right, let's start with the basics. Everyday workplace conversations. These are the interactions you have all the time, so even tiny changes here can make a massive difference.
So picture this. It's a classic situation. You need to talk to a colleague about something important. How do you actually kick that conversation off? You could say, "Can we talk?" But doesn't that sound a little abrupt, almost demanding? But if you switch to, "Do you have a moment to discuss this?" Bam, it immediately shows you respect their time. It frames the whole thing as a collaborative request, not an interruption.
Okay, let's change the scene. Now you're in a team meeting, the conversation's flowing, and you have a really crucial point you need to make.
Just jumping in with, "I want to say something," can kind of feel like you're hijacking the conversation, right? But if you ask, "May I add a point here?" Well, that shows you respect the person speaking and the flow of the meeting. It makes your contribution feel collaborative, not disruptive.
And it's the same thing here. Explain more. It kind of sounds like a command, doesn't it? But the professional upgrade. Could you elaborate on that? That completely transforms it. It becomes a polite request for collaboration. You're inviting them to share more, not demanding it.
Now, let's raise the stakes a bit. We're talking about managing projects and deadlines. This is an area where your language absolutely needs to have both clarity and authority.
When finish? It's so abrupt and it only focuses on the end. But asking, "When do you expect to complete this?" That's a whole different ballgame. It's professional, it focuses on planning, it acknowledges their workload, and it sets a really clear expectation.
Oh, this is a perfect one. It shows the difference between pointing a finger and just stating a fact. "It's late" can feel really accusatory. But saying, "This is running behind schedule," well, that's a neutral, factual statement about the project. And that opens the door to a productive chat about how to get things back on track.
Even a simple command like, "Do this quickly," can create this weird, unnecessary pressure. By adding a bit of politeness, "I'd appreciate it if you could handle this promptly." You're showing respect. And let's be honest, that is far more likely to motivate your colleague to get it done with the urgency you need.
All right, for our final section, let's get into the tricky stuff. Teamwork, and those inevitable tough conversations. This is where your language really has the power to either build relationships or break them.
So you've spotted a mistake, or maybe there's a disagreement brewing. In these moments, how you phrase your concern is absolutely critical.
Let's face it, saying "you are wrong" is a conversation ender. It's a wall. The other person immediately goes on the defensive. But suggesting, "I think there might be a misunderstanding," that opens a door for a calm discussion. It leaves room for the possibility that you're just looking at the problem from different angles.
But let's flip to the positive side for a minute. How do you encourage your teammates? How do you make them feel genuinely valued?
Good idea is fine. It's okay, but it's also kind of generic. Upgrading to "that's a brilliant suggestion," now that has some real enthusiasm behind it. It shows you're not just acknowledging what they said, you're celebrating it.
And let's just pause on this for a second. Seriously, think about the last time someone said something like this to you. It feels great, right? This one little phrase can boost morale, spark more creativity, and just build a stronger, more collaborative team. It is incredibly powerful.
Okay, we've covered a lot, but none of this matters unless you actually put it into practice. So right now, I am officially issuing you a 24-hour challenge.
It's a super simple 3-step mission. First, I want you to choose just one of these professional phrases from today. Just one. Second, make a plan to actually use it in a real conversation at work tomorrow. And third, this is the fun part, just notice the reaction you get. See how it changes the whole dynamic.
And that really leaves us with one final and I think crucial question. It's not about if you should do this, but when. So take a second and think about it.
Which conversation will you upgrade first?